Okay, so welcome to another quick tips video for the Trinity Rock and Pop grades. This one's for 20th Century Boy. So for this one, the first thing we want to talk about is our sound. It's more of a rock song. So the sound is going to be really appropriate here. So I'm using a guitar with humbuckers. Whether you have a guitar with humbuckers or not, that doesn't really matter, but it's definitely going to help to get this kind of sound with humbuckers. I would go to your bridge pickup. So that's going to be the first position on your toggle switch, whether you've got a 5-way blade switch or like this guitar has, although it's slightly out of shot, is a 3-position switch. So we're going to go to our downmost position, first position, which will be the bridge pickup working. And that's kind of the rawest and most aggressive sound most guitars have. So I'm going to be there for this one. And we want a little bit of crunch. So you can hear on my sound right now. Just a little bit of crunch, not too much, but it's certainly going to get us in the ballpark when we play our song. So do consider that when you're practicing and then obviously going to perform your song for your grade. So let's get into it. In the intro, we've got this single note riff and we're playing on our open E string. The thing to watch out for in this riff are the rests. Whenever there is a rest, we need there to be silence. So on beat 2 of this, we're going to play a note, then there's a rest before you play the next part of the riff. So we want a note, silence, and then the next 3. And then silence again before you play the next note of G, which is that 3rd fret that ties over the bar, rings over the bar. So the whole riff. Then another rest at the end of bar 2. And you can see I'm doing this rest by 2 ways. I'm muting with my strumming hand. I'm putting my strumming hand down on the strings. And I'm also flattening out my fingers here. I'm doing both. We call this right hand muting, if it's with your picking hand, and left hand muting with your fretting hand. I'm doing a combination of both. You could just do one. Let's just do just the strumming hand. So right hand for me. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. So whichever way you do it, that doesn't really matter. Try both. But strumming hand, I think, for most people. And the rests are so important because they give that riff a feeling of space and it makes it feel very tidy. If you don't do any rest, here's without rest. The riff still works. It still does sound like the track. However, there's that missing detail of the rests. So that will probably end up losing you marks. So if we can work on this technique now and make it sound extra close to recording, great. The other thing about the first line is in the second 2 bars after the riff is written out, we see this double percentage mark with a 2 over it. That is what we call a double repeat sign. So it's repeat the last 2 bars. So you can see our riff actually covers 2 bars worth of music for it to go round once. And that means we're going to do it again. There's also repeat marks, the double lines in the bracket type looking thing at the end of the line. So that means to repeat the whole line. So in total, we're going to replay this riff. That riff would go 4 times at the start of this song. And like all the Trinity tracks, there's a counting at the beginning, which is 2 bars, so 8 beats in total. All right, let's move on to the verse. So then we're going to get some power chords. Power chords are 2-note chords. The first one is A5, an A power chord. Open A string and the 2nd fret on the D. But we're going to strum them together. Make sure you're using a down pick here. And again, there's a rest in our pattern. So we're going to have a note, rest, and then 2 more. So if we just break that down with counting, we get 1, 2, and 3, 4. So 2 and 4 are the rest. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Third time. And the last time we're going to have 1 extra note. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Right on that 3rd fret there, low E string. And you can see I did that with my 2nd finger. So I've got my 1st finger playing the chord. 2nd finger comes over. And I'm using all down picks for this. So in the middle there, the single percentage signs, they are single bar repeats. So the A riff is written out once to show you what to play, and then those percentage signs mean repeat it 2 more times. And we just use those to clean up what the music looks like on the page, make it easier and faster to read. So on to bar 9 on page 1. We're still playing our riff again. That line is identical to the intro, but you'll notice that there's repeat marks around the end of that line. So where were the others? Well, they were at the start of the verse. So in your music, bar 5, the start of the verse, and the second line of the verse, bar 9 onwards, you play both of those lines once and then repeat them. So watch out for that. Okay, in bar 13 then, on from there, more power chords. This time our power chords are going to ring. We're going to play the A power chord, and we're going to let it ring for 3 and then strike it again. So let's count that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we do the same rhythm, but now we're doing the note of B, 2nd fret on the A string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put those two together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do our E power chord. So our finger's actually already in the right place. It's the 2nd fret of the A string. We actually just played this note. We're going to continue to hold that note, but now for the E power chord, we're going to be strumming open E string and that A string at the same time. Again, all down picks. So let's count that out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the types of beats we're playing here are quavers. They are joined up. Quavers are half beats. And what I say to a lot of students is when you're strumming big chords, let's say an E minor, it doesn't matter if you know this chord, it's not important just now, but a big chord like that, if you were strumming that quavers, I would often tell students to strum that down up. That would work, but it doesn't sound very rock and roll, or punk rock for that matter. In these kind of styles of music, down strums have a much more particular focused sound to them. It's much more rock and roll. So we're going to go all down strums for these power chords. But we're going to count them like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the next bar. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So they're crotchets at the end. Crotchets are 1-beat notes. Let's just do both those bars. 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So just watch out for your strumming and those notes, the quavers. Onto the chorus, bar 17, we've got a big E chord, 3 fingers. To watch out for here, there is a 4-beat note, a semi-breve, joined to another one. So these chords are going to ring for 8. Strum it, let it ring for 8. Strum it again, let it ring for 8. And also watch out for your repeat marks. This line goes twice. So let's just play it through once. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's our line. When you play these chords, be careful that you don't just hear the bottom strings. Make sure we go all the way through the chord. Otherwise you can't tell it's a whole E chord. It just sounds like the power chord we were playing earlier. And then finally, bar 21 at the end, we're going to hear that same E chord, although it's not written over the top of the chord again in the book, so feel free to pencil that on. We're going to play that 4 times, and in the next bar, 1 more, and then it's a dead stop. Nice tight stop. So that's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, putting our hand down on the strings nice and quickly, but not banging it down. We don't want to hear any clicks and pops. And we're silent for the last 3 beats of the music. So make sure we get that silence in there instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want that chord to ring at the end. So one more time, the ending should be 1, 2, 3, 4. So to watch out for in this song, we want to get the sound right. Remember we said bridge pickup, furthest back pickup on your guitar. And that will be, depending on whatever switch you have, but it'll be the position nearest to the floor or backwards. That's our bridge pickup. A little bit of crunch on your amp to make it sound a little bit closer to the recording. Then watch out for your rest. Remember, anytime there's a rest, keep the sound quiet. Watch out for your repeat marks. So for instance, I think every section of this song does repeat. Yeah. So the intro, we're going to repeat that line. The 2 lines of the verse, repeat. And then onto the chorus, we're going to do that line twice as well. So watch out for those. If you miss a repeat out, you'll know, because if you're playing with your backing track, you won't end up in the right place. You'll be behind the music, you'll be ahead of the music. And obviously we want to be dead in sync. All right, I hope those little tricks help. Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.